What is going on, my Houston Texans family? So yesterday we talked about the potential starting offense and how we are excited to see CJ Stroud, Damian Pierce, Tank Dell and company, and the Houston Texans offense will be led by new OC Bobby Slowick. So we're going to switch the sides of the balls today and talk about this Houston Texans defense, which quite honestly, I think this might be the better unit out of the two because for three reasons. Number one, you just took Will Anderson Jr. I am expecting an immediate impact from the Terminator, maybe 8+ sacks. He is a day one starter and a day one impact player. Number two, new defensive line coach Matt Burke, who came from the Arizona Cardinals. He was a defensive line coach there with a defensive line of J.J. Watt and Zach Allen. They were consistently getting to the quarterback, so there is a J.J. Watt endorsement there. I am excited to see what Matt Burke could do here. And then most importantly, new head coach DeMeco Ryans, who when he was with the San Francisco 49ers for multiple years, the San Francisco defense was elite. It was number one rated last year, so we are expecting a huge jump in this Houston Texans defense. That's why I am excited for the second-year players like Derek Stingley, Christian Harris, and Jalen Petrie. I think they are going to benefit the most from DeMeco Ryans. And overall, I am excited for this defense as a whole. Now, this Houston Texans defensive line will consist of two brand new starters, one of them being Will Anderson Jr., who you just took number 3 overall. He was on the Up and Adams show right before draft day, and he talked about his time here in Houston and speaking ahead of Coach DeMeco Ryans, and he told them the way that they want to use me is special, and that is wide 9 on the edge getting to the QB. We know that was not the issue for Will Anderson Jr. He was consistently getting to the quarterback for the Crimson Tide. Over 30 sacks in his career. They're averaging 10 sacks a season. Will Anderson Jr. is going to have an immediate impact here on the Houston Texans. A day one starter, a day one impactful player. I know I said 8.5 sacks, but realistically, I can see a 10-sack season from Will Anderson Jr. The edge on the opposite side is Jonathan Grenard, who heading into year 4 needs to make a statement this year. After a very solid sophomore season where he had 8.5 sacks, we were expecting a 10-sack season in year 3. He dealt with injuries, was inconsistent when he got back. Jonathan Grenard, who when he was with the Florida Gators, led the SEC in sacks, led the SEC in tackles for loss. We need him to kind of come back to the stage, right? And he put out a tweet himself. Don't forget about me. I am writing down the names of the people who are doubting me. So I am excited to see a year 4, a contract year from Jonathan Grenard. Now, your two interior linemen. Well, one of them is Malik Collins, who I am excited for. He finally has a partner in crime in Sheldon Rankins, who is going to allow Malik Collins to be more of a one-on-one type of defense tackle because we know he can get to the QB. But Sheldon Rankins, who you just gave a $10.5 million deal to, spent the last 2 years with the New York Jets and Robert Saleh. Familiarity with this San Francisco 49ers type style of defense that this Texans team is going to run. Now, overall, Will Anderson Jr., Sheldon Rankins, Malik Collins, Jonathan Grenard, miles ahead of what you had last year. This is already a great start to this new Houston Texans defense. Your two linebackers, Christian Harris, Denzel Perryman. No surprise here with Denzel Perryman, the leader, the veteran right now in that LB locker room. However, we do know he cannot stay healthy, so that's why guys like Corey Littleton, we just drafted Henry To'oTo'o. What are we going to do with Christian Kirksey? There were a lot of things that could happen with that Denzel Perryman linebacker spot, right? However, we do know what he was a year and a half ago, and that was a Pro Bowler. So we are expecting him to be that type of player here for the Houston Texans. And then Christian Harris entering his year 2. A full season is what we need to see from Christian Harris. We know the speed's there. We know the athleticism is there. Showed a lot of flashes towards the end of the season last year. A great game against the Indianapolis Colts. But overall, this linebacking core has pretty much been set since the offseason. Now, the bright spot for the Houston Texans, the secondary, which is going to be led by new safety Jimmy Ward and second-year safety Jalen Petrie. This tandem right here is going to be deadly. Jalen Petrie is going to be an all-pro, ladies and gentlemen. You mark it down here. It was a crime that he did not win Defensive Rookie of the Year. He had 5 interceptions and was a game changer. He is going to fix those tackling issues because the 49ers defense, one thing they do not do is miss tackles, and he's going to have his veteran there, Jimmy Ward, who had a nice, fantastic year last year. This is your leader of the defense. This is your leader of the secondary. Now, the cornerback group, I think, might even be better than the safety group. It is led by your guy who you took with the number 3 overall pick last year, and Derek Stingley, who, under D'Amico Ryan type style of defense, we know would flourish. Cornerback number 2, Steven Nelson, who balled out last year for you when Derek Stingley got hurt. I said last year he is a number 2 corner, high-end, low-end number 1, and he definitely stepped up and showed that Steven Nelson wants to be a Houston Texan. He talked about already extending here. Maybe we get to see that done. And then the third cornerback here to be in the slot, Desmond King. He is just too good to keep off the field, ladies and gentlemen. And I think with the 30 here for the Houston Texans, the first year under new head coach D'Amico Ryans, we will see him getting back to that all-pro form. This is the Houston Texans defense, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know what you think about the group entirely and what are your expectations for them. Go Texans. Y'all have a very blessed day.